Hello and welcome back to Stat 385. This is our week 5 welcome video. And this week we're going to be covering logic and control flow within R. Okay, so this week we will introduce some fundamentals. I guess in general programming fundamentals, some of these concepts exist across many different languages, and we'll of course cover how to write these concepts in R, but also expand upon them using R specific functionality, and I'll get into that in a second. Okay, so we'll do comparison of objects, Boolean operators, control flow, and iteration. So this week you will be expected to be able to use comparison operators and related functions to create logical vectors. So like, is something greater than something, those types of comparisons. Is it equal to, is it not equal to, etc. Use Boolean operators to perform operations on logical vectors as well. And then combine these two things and perform logical subsetting. We've seen this before. It's also just very, very nice, so we'll cover it. And then these if-else statements and for and while loops, we'll cover them in R. These are concepts that if you take in other programming classes, you might be familiar with. We'll also use if-else, which is a vectorized alternative. I use it all the time. I think it's great. If this condition is satisfied, do this, else do this other thing. Performed on a vector. It is very, very nice. And then we'll cover lapply and related functions to iterate over the elements of a vector. So this will be instead of doing, say, like a for loop. And these lapply things are more specific to R. They're within this sort of vectorization paradigm of R. Remember that R is a language by statisticians for statisticians. And so we have discussed in gory detail the concept of a vector in R, atomic, generic, and so forth. And so here, lapply will take on a vector as an argument and a function as an argument and apply that function to that vector, one entry at a time, rather than writing for a loop. Often the advantage here is that these are it can be computationally faster, although in some of the examples in the videos are about the same, and they are definitely cleaner. The trade-off is you haven't seen it before probably, and so therefore it's you have to learn it, and that takes time. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but they are super nice. Right, and we'll avoid common pitfalls when using loops in R. Okay, so reading as usual, skim it, go through the videos, reread. There's a bunch of videos this week. Not all of them are very long. They're important. There's fun lab on the concepts that we will cover. Right, lab 3, quiz 3, due Thursday this week for full credit. Lab 4, quiz 4, due next Thursday, October 2nd. One wrinkle. So so far the material, the assignments have steadily come in, and there's decreasing credit as you go. Next week is we have a review week. There won't be content, and then we have an exam. And so basically, the decreasing points will reflect the fact that there is an exam. So it won't just like time out when you're supposed to be doing an exam. But I think that it would be useful for everybody here if you get lab 4 and quiz 4 done before the exam, because the exam will cover that material. So that's a milestone, and that's a really good segue. We are here, and there's a review, and then there's an exam. Let's go start talking about the exam a little bit, or the exam policy. Please read all of the following carefully. If you haven't done so, and I don't know why you would have, now is the time you're now on notice to read this document. Okay, so the exam, it's a remote class. It will be a remote exam. I'll skip ahead here. Our exam will be Thursday, October 9th, 7 to 9 p.m. Champagne time. It will be administered via Prairie Learn, well, rather the Prairie Test implementation. Read this documentation on what that is. Oh, good. That kind of like shows you how to get set up, at least at a general high level. Right. So generally what you're going to, and we'll cover this in a lot more detail, but how it's going to work is, you will have a phone or secondary device to show you or show our proctors. See here, you can see this secondary device points to you on your computer, and this little blurb tells you how to sort of set up the secondary device through this like Prairie Learn system. I understand this is a lot to just take in to see right now, but we'll go over it again. And I have given this class in this format. I've taught this class in this format many times. I know people have taught it many times. We generally almost never have any problems with people in this class doing it, doing these exams. So, this is one of the things where in many ways a remote class is really, really nice. In this way, it is not, having to get set up and do this like online virtual exam. But you will be able to do it. Everyone has done it, and we haven't had really any problems with it. So, all right, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves in the exams, but I think it's good to, touch on it right now. So, okay, week 5, logic and control flow. We're doing something with the objects that we have studied so far, and it's exciting, especially to get into these apply functions and see, kind of like what makes R R. All right. I will see you in the videos. I will see you in office hours. See you on Ed. All right. Take care. Bye.